Stop right there. Don't just keep watching this like another video. I want you to actually do something. Sit up, take a breath, and pay attention, because what I'm about to share won't work if you just listen and forget it 5 minutes later. I've been a urologist for over 20 years, working almost exclusively with men over 60, and I thought I had seen every pattern: low energy, poor sleep, declining performance. But a few years ago, something happened that forced me to rethink everything I believed about aging. A patient came in, 72 years old, looked healthy on paper, did everything right, and still said, "Doctor, I feel like my body just stopped responding." And honestly, what surprised me wasn't his symptoms, it was how familiar they sounded. Because around that same time, I started noticing it in myself. Waking up tired even after a full night, that heavy, slow feeling in the morning, that quiet drop and drive that's hard to explain but impossible to ignore. That's when it hit me. I wasn't just treating this problem anymore. I was living inside it. So I did what most men do. I tried everything: supplements, diet tweaks, sleep routines, even some of the protocols I used to recommend to my own patients. Some helped a little, most did nothing. And that's when I realized we've been looking at this completely wrong. The issue isn't just testosterone, it's not just circulation, and it's definitely not just age. There's a hidden mechanism happening at night while you think you're resting that's quietly controlling all three: your sleep, your energy, and your physical response. And almost nobody talks about it correctly, but once I understood it, everything changed. In the next few minutes, I'm going to walk you through exactly what I discovered and the one simple thing I now tell every man over 60 to do before bed that can start reversing this pattern. And number 3, I almost ignored it at first. It seemed too simple to matter, but in the end, it made the biggest difference in sleep, energy, and performance. If you're curious where this comes from, I've added the details down in the description. Before we go further, let me ask you something quick. How old are you? I read every comment, and it helps me understand what men are really going through at different stages. All right, now let's start with the first thing most men over 60 are getting completely wrong about this vitamin at night. 1. Take vitamin D3 at night. Let's start with something simple, almost too simple. Take your vitamin D3 at night, not in the morning. I know that sounds basic, but here's what I want you to do starting tonight. Take 2,000 to 4,000 IU of vitamin D3 with your last meal, and make sure that meal includes a little healthy fat. Olive oil, a few nuts, or avocado is enough. It takes less than 10 seconds to do, but the timing changes how your body uses it. Now, this might sound like a small detail, but it's actually rooted in how your biology works after 60. Your body doesn't repair itself during the day, it does that at night, especially during deep sleep. That's when your brain releases signals that support testosterone production, cellular repair, and vascular recovery. Vitamin D3 interacts with those same systems, so when you take it in the morning, you're missing the window where it can do the most work. Here's where it gets interesting. Inside your body, vitamin D3 acts more like a hormone than a vitamin. It binds to receptors in your testes that help regulate testosterone production, and it also influences areas of the brain that control your sleep cycle. In one controlled trial, men who supplemented with vitamin D3 saw up to a 20% increase in testosterone levels over time, especially those who were deficient. Another study found that correcting low vitamin D levels improved sleep quality scores by over 30%, particularly in older adults who struggled with fragmented sleep. So you're getting a dual benefit here: better sleep on one side and improved hormonal balance on the other. And when those two improve together, you start noticing changes that feel connected: more stable energy, clearer mornings, and a stronger physical response. It's not about forcing the body to perform, it's about restoring the conditions that allow it to function the way it used to. Now, consistency matters more than anything. This isn't a one-night fix. Most men start to notice deeper sleep within the first week, then gradual improvements in energy and response over the next few weeks. Think of it like turning the lights back on in a system that's been dimming slowly for years. But here's the part most men still get wrong, even when they take it at night, and it has nothing to do with the vitamin itself. 2. Pair vitamin D3 with magnesium at night. Now here's where we go one level deeper because taking vitamin D3 at night is only part of the equation. If you want your body to actually use that vitamin, you need to pair it with magnesium, specifically magnesium glycinate. And this is something both modern research and traditional medicine have quietly agreed on for years. Tonight, if you're starting fresh, take 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 with dinner and add 100 to 200 milligrams of magnesium glycinate about 30 to 60 minutes before bed, then gradually increase to 200 to 400 milligrams over the next 1 to 2 weeks as your body adjusts. This may sound like just adding another supplement, but the mechanism behind it is central. Magnesium is required for the enzymatic conversion of vitamin D3 into its active form inside your body, meaning without it, a significant portion of the D3 you take simply remains inactive. At the same time, magnesium directly calms the nervous system by regulating GABA receptors, which helps your body transition into deeper, more restorative sleep. This is why, in traditional practices, magnesium-rich foods were often recommended at night to settle the body. Here's what the data shows. Clinical observations have found that individuals with adequate magnesium levels can utilize vitamin D up to 30 to 40% more efficiently compared to those who are deficient. Another study on older adults showed that magnesium supplementation improves sleep quality scores by roughly 35%, especially in those experiencing frequent nighttime awakenings. When you combine that with vitamin D3, you're not just adding benefits, you're creating a synergy where each one amplifies the other. But there's also a risk factor most men don't realize. After 60, magnesium levels tend to decline due to reduced absorption and common medications like diuretics or acid blockers, which means even if you're taking vitamin D3 correctly, your body may not be able to activate it properly. That's why some men feel no difference at all. They're missing the key that unlocks the entire process. So think of it this way. Vitamin D3 is the signal. Magnesium is the switch that turns that signal on. Together, they support deeper sleep, more stable testosterone production, and better recovery overnight. Start low, let your body adapt, and stay consistent, because this is where the compounding effect really begins. But even with perfect timing and the right combination, there's still one more layer. Something happening in your bloodstream that determines whether any of this actually improves circulation, and most men have never looked at it closely. 3. Add L-citrulline at night. Now this is where things get noticeably faster because even if your sleep and hormones are improving, your body still needs one more thing to respond properly, and that's blood flow. The compound I want you to add is L-citrulline, and here's how to start tonight. Take 1,500 to 3,000 milligrams about 60 to 90 minutes before bed, either in capsule or powder form mixed with water. It may sound like a performance supplement, but what it actually does inside your body is very specific and very powerful. L-citrulline converts into L-arginine in your kidneys, and that process increases nitric oxide production in your blood vessels. Nitric oxide is the molecule that tells your arteries to relax and expand, allowing more blood to flow exactly where it's needed. As we age, this pathway becomes less efficient, which is why many men over 60 notice weaker circulation and slower response, even when everything else seems fine. Here's what makes this different from the previous steps. It can work quickly. Some clinical data shows that L-citrulline supplementation can improve blood flow markers by up to 20 to 30% within a few hours of intake, especially in individuals with already reduced nitric oxide levels. Another trial found that men using citrulline reported measurable improvements in firmness and performance within just 1 to 2 weeks, with some noticing early changes in as little as a few days. That's because you're not waiting for a hormone cycle. You're directly enhancing vascular function. There's also a performance benefit here that many men don't expect. Improved blood flow doesn't just affect one area, it supports muscle oxygenation, endurance, and overall energy. Some men describe it as feeling lighter or more responsive physically, even during simple daily activities like walking or climbing stairs. Now, some people hesitate because they've heard about mild side effects like warmth, slight flushing, or a tingling sensation. But here's how I explain it. Those are often signs that your blood vessels are actually opening up. It's your circulation improving in real time. If it feels too strong, simply start at a lower dose, around 1,000 milligrams, and build up gradually over a few days. Used consistently, L-citrulline gives you both a short-term boost and long-term vascular support, especially when combined with the sleep and hormonal improvements we talked about earlier. But even with all of this in place, there's still one final layer, something deeper, tied to your internal clock that determines whether your body fully locks into recovery mode each night. 4. Use beetroot nitrates at night. This one might sound a little unusual at first, especially before bed, but stay with me because this is where we start affecting not just circulation, but the quality of circulation. I want you to try this tonight. Drink 100 to 150 milliliters of concentrated beetroot juice, or take a standardized beetroot extract providing about 400 to 800 milligrams of dietary nitrates roughly 2 hours before sleep. It may not sound like a nighttime habit, but the way your body processes it makes it incredibly effective during your overnight recovery window. Here's the deeper mechanism. The nitrates in beetroot are converted in your mouth and gut into nitrites and then into nitric oxide in your bloodstream. But this pathway is different from the one we talked about earlier. It's more direct and can work even when your body's natural nitric oxide production is declining, which is common after 60. That nitric oxide doesn't just open large blood vessels, it also improves microcirculation, the tiny capillaries that deliver oxygen and nutrients to tissues that larger vessels can't fully reach. This is why men often notice things they didn't expect. Less tingling in the hands and feet, faster recovery after minor strains, even small wounds healing more efficiently. One study found that dietary nitrate supplementation improved blood flow by up to 25% within hours, while another showed enhanced microvascular function by nearly 30% in older adults over a short intervention period. So you're not just increasing flow, you're improving how deeply that flow reaches. Now, there's a right way to introduce this. Start on the lower end, around 100 milliliters of juice or 400 milligrams nitrate equivalent, and increase gradually over a week as your body adapts. Drink it slightly chilled, not ice cold, because extreme cold can slow absorption, and avoid antibacterial mouthwash at night since it disrupts the oral bacteria needed for nitrate conversion. One important safety note: if you're on blood pressure medication or nitrates, you should speak with your doctor before adding this, because the combined effect can lower blood pressure more than expected. But when used correctly, this becomes a powerful layer, supporting both large vessel dilation and deep tissue perfusion at the same time. And yet, even with optimized blood flow, there's still one final piece, something that determines whether your body actually locks in these gains overnight. And this next step is where everything comes together. 5. Take pine bark extract at night. This one might sound a little more advanced, and honestly, most men have never even heard of it. But this is where we go deeper than just blood flow and start fixing how blood actually moves through your system. The compound is pine bark extract, often standardized as pycnogenol, and here's how to begin. Take 50 milligrams about 60 to 90 minutes before bed, then gradually increase to 100 to 150 milligrams over 1 to 2 weeks, depending on how your body responds. It may not seem like much, but what it does inside your vessels is very different from anything we've talked about so far. Here's the mechanism in simple terms. Pine bark extract increases nitric oxide production, but it also protects it from breaking down too quickly, which is a key issue after 60. At the same time, it reduces oxidative stress in the endothelium, the inner lining of your blood vessels, allowing both large arteries and tiny capillaries to function more efficiently. It works through intermediates like eNOS activation and antioxidant polyphenols, which help stabilize the entire signaling pathway instead of just stimulating it briefly. This is where men start noticing changes that feel more systemic, less numbness in the hands and feet, warmer extremities, faster recovery from minor cuts or soreness. One clinical trial showed that men using pine bark extract experienced up to a 40% improvement in endothelial function within several weeks, while another study found enhanced microcirculation by nearly 35%, especially in older adults with vascular decline. So you're not just increasing flow, you're improving the quality and stability of that flow across your entire body. Now, there's a right way to build this in. Start low, as I mentioned, and increase gradually to avoid any mild dizziness or lightheadedness, which can happen as circulation improves. Take it with a light evening meal for better absorption, and avoid combining it immediately with strong stimulants or alcohol. Also, if you're on blood thinners, this is something you should discuss with your doctor first, because pine bark can enhance circulation quite significantly. When used consistently, this becomes a long-term upgrade to your vascular system, working alongside everything we've already built. But even with optimized sleep, hormones, and circulation, there's still one final layer, something deeper, almost like a master switch that determines whether your body truly resets overnight. And this last one is the most powerful of all. 6. Drink warm tart cherry extract at night. If I had to choose just one method to tie everything together, this would be it. It may sound simple, even a little unusual, but drinking tart cherry extract at night is one of the most effective ways to support deep sleep, hormone balance, and recovery all at once. Here's exactly how to do it. Take 30 milliliters of concentrated tart cherry extract diluted in a small glass of warm water, not hot, around body temperature, and drink it 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Now let me explain why this works so well. Tart cherries naturally contain melatonin, the hormone that signals your body it's time to sleep, but they also contain anthocyanins, which reduce inflammation and improve blood flow at the same time. Think of melatonin as the switch that turns your system into recovery mode, and anthocyanins as the cleanup crew that repairs damage while you sleep. Together, they create an environment where your body can actually complete the recovery cycle that's often disrupted after 60. Here's what the data shows. In controlled trials, tart cherry supplementation has been shown to increase total sleep time by up to 84 minutes and improve sleep efficiency by over 25% in older adults. Another study found significant reductions in inflammation markers alongside improved vascular function, meaning better circulation both in large vessels and at the micro level. When compared to common sleep aids, tart cherry doesn't force sleep. It supports your natural rhythm, which is why the effects tend to feel more stable and sustainable. Preparation matters here. Use warm, not boiling water because excessive heat can degrade some of the active compounds. Drink it consistently at the same time each night to help reinforce your circadian rhythm, and avoid pairing it with heavy meals right before bed so absorption stays optimal. If you're new, start with 15 milliliters for the first few nights, then increase to 30 milliliters as your body adjusts. And here's what I tell my patients. This is not a quick fix, it's a nightly signal. Over time, it trains your body to return to a deeper, more restorative pattern of sleep, which then supports everything else we've talked about. It's affordable, easy to find, simple to prepare, and backed by real physiology. You don't need expensive drugs. You don't need complicated protocols. Your body still knows how to recover. It just needs the right signals, at the right time, given consistently. If this helped you understand what your body has really been missing after 60, go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. In this channel, we break down simple, science-backed methods you can actually use at home to improve sleep, restore energy, and support real performance without complicated routines or expensive treatments. I'll continue sharing practical protocols like the ones you saw today, step by step, so you can apply them safely and consistently. Thanks for spending this time with me, and I'll see you in the next video.